Okay. All right, people. It is your girl, makeup artist, DeShawn Hatcher. I think I'm going to switch my glasses. These are old glasses and may fade out on me midway through our live. But like I said, this is your girl, makeup artist, DeShawn Hatcher, all the way from New York. And I'm here to help my fellow fabulous makeup artists, just be a tad bit better in the business. And do I like these? They're going to stay on my face because the other glasses are up there. So that is what she has. Let me see if I have anything else to clean these things with. Yeah, I don't. So we'll just keep this on. So anyway, all right, listen. I can't stay on here all night because she's still, where's the paint? She's still, oh, that painting, it's never going to end. It's going on forever. 5 coats and still painting. That's just my issue. That's my small ish in the world. But yeah, man. So listen, you know how sometimes I come up with topics, sometimes straight off the top of my head. And then sometimes I come up with topics because literally I'm on message boards and I see what people write and then I respond. And I was just on a message board. And several things clicked up, several issues clicked up on the message board. And I kind of wanted to talk about it with you guys because of the fact that if this stuff can happen to those makeup artists, it can happen to any makeup artist. And so I wanted to talk about the rules of being a makeup artist. All right, this is what is driving me crazy. And one of the things the first thing I wanted to talk about, we literally just were talking about tipping. And this young lady seemed to be upset. She had a bad day. So basically, she just had a bad day. She had a really crappy client. But a lot of things precipitated before that to give her a bad day. So anyway, she had a bad day. And one of her complaints was that the client only tipped her $5. And I was like, well, tips aren't mandatory in the first place. You're not, so basically my point here is that when we do get a tip, should be very appreciative we got a tip, and then we bounce, okay? But tipping is not mandatory. It's not. Even in bridal is not mandatory. It's not mandatory. And when you guys put down on your invoices or whatever, tipping 10% or something like that, yeah, no, tipping isn't mandatory. And to me, in my personal opinion, it's not something you should be adding to a bill either. Because, and the reason why I say that is, the only reason why I say that is because we are the business owners. Most of the time when you see like a 10% mandatory tip, I used to work in restaurants. So there would be a 20, I think it's a 20%. Lord, now I can't remember. So basically, let's say in restaurant, right? We'd have like a table of 6 come in, and there was a mandatory tipping at that point because the restaurant industry wants to make sure that that one waiter will get the tip that they deserve. And so that is why that is there, to make sure that that waiter, sometimes you'll see it in a limo driver, because a lot of times what happens with a limo driver is he's working for a company. So again, he's probably working on a smaller commission of some sort or some small pay, and then tips will help supplement his income because he is not the owner. So therefore, tipping is asked. That is why that happens. But if you're the owners don't get tipped. Technically, you don't get tipped. And since you are the makeup artist and this is your business, being tipped is not mandatory to you because you are the owner. And therefore, as the owner, you are setting your pay. And that is why tipping is not mandatory for makeup artists. Now, when it comes to bridal, yes, every single time I've done a wedding in bridal, I've been tipped. And it's lovely. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But again, tipping isn't mandatory. No one has to give us a tip. What they have to do is pay us what is due, but they do not have to tip us. And I think that this rule or being pissed that you didn't get tipped is kind of like, well, they don't have to tip you. And that's rule number one. You don't have to be getting no tips. So that's number one. Nubian Princess! Hey, Nubian Princess. Glad I'm back. I was studying for a certification. I passed. Bravo, bravo, you passed. I love when people pass their class. That's so cool. Congratulations, Nubian Princess. Hey, Name. Thank you. See our pretty sweater. Thank you. I love her too, except I'm cold. I'm cold in here today. I don't know what happened. I just sat down. I was like, oh, I'm cold. Thank you, my dear. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of like get that out because I do think that I have seen in the past where makeup artists get upset that, and the biatch didn't tip me. And I'm like, well, I mean, technically she's not supposed to tip you. You know what I mean? So that's the one thing I want to talk about is tipping isn't mandatory in our business because you are the business owner. That is why tipping isn't mandatory. If you're in bridal and you get tips, or if you're doing whatever and somebody wants to give you a tip, you gladly say, thank you, and then you keep it moving. But tips are not mandatory, so don't be upset when you don't get a tip and be happy and appreciative when you do, but it ain't mandatory. So what else was on this message board that I said? We need to talk about this because if this can happen to these types of makeup artists, and I know this person, she's a smart woman, she's bright, everything. I know this can happen to anybody. And I think probably I might even make a video about this. This is gentleman. I don't know his name off the top of my head. I would have to pull up all of his information. There seems to be one or two people going around, specifically, I believe it's on Instagram, and they're offering like classes, or that's why I need to read up a little bit more about what the offer exactly is. I'm going to say classes / jobs. So I guess if you come and you take the certificate class from him, then you are guaranteed jobs with this makeup artist. Almost as if you would be his second makeup artist on a job, or you would be his assistant. Okay. So he guarantees that you'll be working on all these high-end gigs. That's what he guaranteed. And people paid him $5,000. Did you hear what I said? $5,000. Not $5, not $500, $5,000 to sign up for this guy's class or something like that. And I'm like, oh, who would do that? Well, many people would do that. And it's turned into a big mess. And I just kind of want to talk about certain things, rules in this industry. You do not pay for a job. You don't, if somebody contacts you and says, hey, I have this job, but you have to buy my kit, or, in order to be on this list, you have to pay, then bypass those types of things. Unless it is one of those, I'm trying to say like union list things, or there are organizations and job search things, but they are normal. You see them pop up, but they're normal. They've been around forever. Would be like a Mandy.com, but for $5. It's not $5,000. So there are little directories that you might have to sign up for that they ask for a pay. That's not exactly the same thing as paying for a gig. You're paying for space on the directory. What he was offering was, he was like saying straight up, yo, I get you some jobs. You give me the 5K, I get you the jobs. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way in this business. And to know that this young lady got taken for $5,000, my heart just snapped in half. My first response was, what the hell? And then, I wrote to her, I was like, what the hell? How the hell did that happen to you? And then, I didn't mean to sound like that, but it just came out, like, what? And then to know that she really paid the money and she can't get her money back, it broke my heart. Because, and she said, oh, DeShawn, I was just so desperate. And desperation gets us in so much trouble. It doesn't allow us to think straight. Do you know what I mean? And it didn't allow her to think straight. And so what happened, she spent $5,000 to be put on some jobs list and supposedly guaranteed jobs. See, that's the thing that these directories don't do. They're not guaranteeing you a job. Even if you say, let's say they say, sign up for this directory, it's $50. They still don't guarantee you a job, but you're on a list, and this list is supposed to go out to the masses, and hopefully someone will contact you. But there's no guarantee on any of these directories that you'll get a job. There's no guarantee whatsoever. And yet people continually think that it's somewhat of a golden ticket to get work. And it's not. That's why you have to know the history of the directory. If you're allowed to even go and peruse who's in this directory, I would definitely, for me personally, because I'm so nosy and I'm so hyper, like what's going on with this thing, I have been known to go through almost the entire, oh, I have issues. I've been known to go through almost the entire directory, checking everybody's emails, or, you know, checking to make sure they're real, checking to make sure that their websites are real. I have done that because if I'm going to give you a dime, I want to know if this is true or not. Are these people really on here? You know, so I do check to see if it's a live directory. Are a lot of these people on this directory, are their websites shut down? You know, because of, you know, as long as you pay your money, your name might stay up there and it might look like a full directory, but it might not be. So I am one of those weirdos who go and click to see if it's real or not, to see who's on there. That's what I do, to make sure that the connection is open and viable, because, you know, it may look like it's full and it's not. And then they're taking your money, you're sitting there, you know. So directories, look up the history of the directory. Find out the reputation of the directory that you want to put your name on. Okay. But an individual, listen, DeShawn's directory is coming. My directory is coming. It's $5,000 and I guarantee you a job. Yeah, none of that. Don't do that. Like, don't do that. Please don't do that. Because it's just, I can't guarantee people jobs. And I have been privy to some amazing jobs that I could not do, but I cannot sit up here and guarantee everybody on a directory of, let's say, 500 artists that I can get 500 artists a job. You know what I mean? That's crazy. So, and also he's an Instagram person. He wasn't even like editorial or fashion, or he was just an Instagram person. So this is the other thing that gave me red flags with him. He's an Instagrammer. Again, it's not a diss. It's just that he's not particularly in the industry to be giving, to say that he can give away those types of jobs. So I was a little confused with that too. So, you know, be careful of people saying that they're going to be doing these great things for you. I mean, just before the pandemic, we went through that whole thing with the makeup artist who was doing that. Oh God, now I can't remember. It's like, go to class, I'm going to class, something like that. And she had all these amazing, it went on for a couple of years until it didn't, until she took people's money and ran. She took people's money and ran. I don't even know what happened to, I can't remember her name. It's a while ago. I'd have to look it up. But she pulled a fast one on the makeup industry too. And she really, you know, hurt people's pockets, because she said she was paying people, wound up she wasn't paying people. She was shysty. And so we all have to be super, super careful when it comes to everything. You know, you have to check that reputation, and you really have to, you know, if people had checked her reputation for real, and again, I cannot remember her name because I think I blanked it out. But if you checked her reputation, you would have already have known that she was a shysty person from something she did 5 years prior, but nobody checked her, you see. And I don't know how much money she took from people. I think it was well over, it could have been $1 million. I want to say $1 million, but I could be a little too high. But she took people's money and ran. So we really, really have to be careful. Really, really have to be. Hey, K Nails 171. Hello, everyone. K Nails says, hello, K Nails. Listen, we're talking about the rules of the game here. And I've already went over tipping. And now I'm going over Don't be giving your money. Don't be giving your money away to people who say, I'm going to get you a job, because jobs are not guaranteed. They cannot guarantee you work in that manner, especially with high profile anything, especially if they don't even know you or don't even understand. So, you just have to be careful about who you give your money to, because like I just mentioned before, this young lady got $5,000 taken from her. Well, no, she's not taken. She got $5,000 that she gave to this person for a job, and then found out he was full of BS and can't get her money back. So there you go. Hey, Rosemary. Hi, all from my backyard. I wish I could go outside and do this from my yard. Maybe I can. Maybe I'll try. Maybe I'll try this summer to do it from the yard. That would be kind of cool, because I like sitting out in my yard. It's cute. So what is the rule number 3? Oh, rule number 3. Also, this gentleman played the game of paying for you to be on his assistance list. Here's DeShawn's book. Boom, 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 boom. This book, there are no jobs valid for assisting where I or any key will say, well, if you want to be on my team, then pay me. No. No, that's not how it works. That is not how this business works. It's already bad enough, to be straight and honest, that you guys in the beginning don't get paid a rate when you assist people. Many keys don't want to pay you because I had my book signing, and we were talking about that. And we were talking about what somebody had asked me. So assisting, is it a paid job? And I was like, not in the beginning. And it's not paid in the beginning because we keys need to see, we need a feel for you. We need to see if you literally are going to mess up my kit. How well do you work? Do you know set etiquette? Are you going to risk me my job? We won't pay people in the beginning because we want to see what you do. And then when we feel like, okay, this person's dope, then the paid gigs come. But it's just like a test. It's like a test to see how well you do. And then people will normally pay. And so, but you don't pay me. You don't pay me. And any key that comes at you with you need to, if you want to be on my assistance list, then you have to pay me, then that is not the key for you. Then you just keep it stepping. Do not pay a key ever to be on any kind of diggy-daggy list. That makes no sense. Makes no sense. Do not do it. Do not pass go. They need to go straight to jail. Do not do it. Do not do it. Okay? And again, nothing is guaranteed. And again, when people do that, you have to think like most keys who have assistants. We don't have 25 assistants unless you're Pat McGrath, who needs 25 assistants, right? Like every now and then I work on something huge and I need 25, 30, 40 people. You're not my assistant. You're working on a team. That's different. And also, by the way, you're not paying me for the job. I'm paying you. So anytime somebody reaches out to you and says, oh, you have to pay me to be on this list or whatever, you just go, bye, biatch, and you bounce. That's what you do. That's all you do. But this paying stuff is getting out of hand. I will admit, though, now I don't remember where this young lady was. I was speaking at, I want to say I was speaking at IMATS. I was speaking at IMATS. That's what I want to say. Now I feel bad because now, was it IMATS or was it the makeup show? I don't remember, but I was speaking somewhere. And this young lady from another country had raised her hand and she had asked me, well, how much does it cost her to assist me? And I was completely confused. I said, what do you mean, honey? She goes, in my country, I want to say it's like Bulgaria, something like that. I think it's Bulgaria now that I think about it. In her country, she has to pay that key to work for them. I was like, what the F? I was shocked when she told me. I said, wow. But again, that's Bulgaria. That is not here in America, nor that I know that it happens in Canada or the UK. That seems to be something that happens in Bulgaria. And so if that's a normal practice from Bulgaria, then you have to, I guess, follow suit. But here, in what I just said is not normal practice. You ain't got to pay no key jack for nothing. So all of that pay me stuff, no, 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 no. You do not pay. You do not pay to assist me. To me, made no sense to me. So we do not pay, anybody to be an assistant. Okay, that's crazy. So, oh, Dornsville, hi, Dornsville. I love listening to DeShawn. Thank you for love listening to me, Dornsville. I always learn something new, and I plan on purchasing eyebrow products from Senna Cosmetics. Thank you for recommending it, DeShawn, and everyone else. Also, DeShawn, do you have a live chat episode on why bridal makeup artists charge more for weddings? I think the price should be more because of the work and time needed for weddings. Yeah, I mean, no, I don't have one on there. And so it's so cute, Donsville, you say that, but I have that plan to do a YouTube video on that same exact subject of why do we charge more for bridal than you do for portraiture makeup. Like, my aunt's has always been the makeup has to be one, just in terms of the makeup alone, the makeup has to be camera ready, day or night, inside, outside, waterproof, cry proof. There's so much to bridal makeup. It looks gorgeous, but it's bulletproof almost. Like, you shouldn't be able to mess it up, all the hugs and all that stuff. That takes a lot of skill. Not just even product, it takes a lot of skill. On top of it, then just the amount of time that makeup artists put into communicating with the bride every single time. I mean, Jesus Christ. I did a wedding not too long ago. Well, just when the pandemic was breaking, I had done a wedding, and the correspondence back and forth and back and forth. I was like, oh, I forgot how much time it takes to go back and forth with people. And you should be paid for that. Just like a lawyer, every single time you call your lawyer, okay, and they pick up the phone, that clock is ticking. That clock is ticking, and that's the way bridal industry should do. The clock is ticking. The minute you call me, biatch, for something, and I pick up, hello, then the tick, 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 tick. Then you should be charging people for that conversation. That's the way it should be. Now, I know a lot of people don't. I didn't do that because I don't really do that many weddings in a year. I mean, it depends. It depends on my mood. She got to be a moody bitch, but it depends on my mood on weddings. I'm not a wedding person, but yeah, man. So weddings, not only does the makeup have to be flawlessly done, bulletproof, the whole 9 yards, but then for a year or more, or a year, or 6 months to a year, you're dealing with this person back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back. Jesus Christ, you need to be paid. You need to be compensated for that. So that is why weddings are more. You know what I'm saying? I just saw your work and you did a beautiful, Lidge is a bridal makeup artist. She's a phenomenal makeup artist. She just did a beautiful bride. She's a full-figured young lady. I just saw that online. She looked flawless. That takes skill. And like I said, you also always have to remember that it's not just one type of light that this woman's going to be under. Also, you have to remember that it's video, it's photography, in and out, inside, outside, for some candlelight, sometimes inside, outside, day, and then it rolls into night. It's a lot that bridal makeup artists have to do. And so they should be compensated. Sometimes I don't think they charge enough. Y'all should be compensated because it's a lot of work. Let's not even mention the agita. There should be agita tax put onto everything for being annoying. That's another thing. So there you go. So you see, Lidge is telling you, yes, there's a lot of communication between the bride and the artist. In addition to the labor, weddings can be stressful. Yes, Lidge, y'all know how I feel about them. They stress me the F out. I'm stressed by them. I get very like, oh, I get stressed by them. It doesn't help me. Um, Even like doing like, I always, I sound like a complaining biatch, but I actually have every wedding I've done. The bride has been lovely. The bride has been just really, all of my brides have really been super duper sweet. I just think it's the stress of the day. Even though the last bride, there was no real stress per se. She was sweet. So I'm not complaining. Yeah, it's not the bride. I don't know. Sometimes it's just the day, and sometimes the day is just stressful, and you can feel their stress. You can feel how stressed they are. That's why I'm always trying to like, be calm. Well, I mean, we all do it. Try to be a calming force for them, and try to be, a sounding board because they're talking to us incessantly. you know, it's like, oh, the energy that's flying around is a lot for me. But no, every time I think about, my brides have been lovely. And I just think it's a stressful day for me. Rosemary, we'll catch replay, guys. Get that inclusion palette. It's fabulous. Thank you. Thank you, Rosemary. That's what I say. Get that inclusion palette. It's fabulous. If you came to the book sign-in, if you were there, you got an inclusion palette. Some people got two. Some people got two. Oh, Nubian Princess as my first bride. Her wedding was in July. Uh, I think you mean by the water, and it was humid. The makeup looked amazing in every light. I never considered all of that. Humidity. Oh, what a biatch. That's one of the reasons why I can't stand Florida, because the humidity is just, it's a killer, and it's not good for makeup. It's not the place for makeup. Can't stand it. We have to be careful. Yes, and ooh, yes, it's stressful because they are on a strict schedule. Exactly. And they need to get it out. And a lot of times them women are late. I listen, they're late. Like, I don't think I've ever had a situation in a wedding where everything was done on time, like they were on time. Like I would say, I have a demand list, a list like, I need the high chair, I need this, I need that, blah, blah. And you get to the room and there's nothing. And then they go, oh, your stuff is in here? No, it's not here. Oh, let me call downstairs. And then you're waiting for them to bring. Yeah, because I don't, if I'm in a hotel, I call the hotel in advance and I say, do you have bar stools that, I'm a makeup artist, I'm coming to do a bride, I need that delivered to the room so I don't have to bring my chair. There's other things I ask for, and I ask the hotel, I call the hotel, do you have these things? And they say yes or no. If they say no, then I bring a chair. If they say yes, then I ain't bringing no chair. And so, but what they will do sometimes is forget to bring me my chair on time, or I let the bride know that the hotel will be providing the bar stool or whatever I asked for, that kind of thing, and the extra table, because again, these rooms sometimes don't have an extra table. Again, if they don't have it to give, I bring my own. But I've learned to ask in advance for these things from the hotel itself. So, but sometimes, like I say, I let the bride know, these are the things I need. I've already discussed it with the hotel. Please, in your dealings, make sure it's included. And of course they forget. And then I get there the day, and then we have to wait minutes for it to come. Again, that ain't my fault. That, that got to do your job, bridey. But that's not my fault. So we just have to wait for it to, show up. And it's like weird little things. So, yeah, they're not on time. That's why she's just pushing product tonight. That's why Increase Your Speed is open. I think all the days in May are booked. Yeah. But we have June, July, August, and 1 or 2 days in September. So if you want to take Increase Your Speed, go to assistingrules.com, go to Increase Your Speed in the education section and sign up for your class, because weddings will kick your ass. Maybe that's what I should put down. Sign up for the class because weddings will kick your ass. But see, I should have done that. I should have put a little thing up there. Let's see. So Dawn says, please let me know if I'm derailing the conversation, but can you tell us your process in more detail for deciding which clients you'll work with? First of all, that's what this thing is all about. I have a topic, and if I really am into my topic, Dawnsville, I will not read what you're saying, and I will spit out whatever I need to get out, and then I'll read what you're saying, and then we'll move on. So don't even worry about it. This is your day to ask me many, 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 many questions. So you are never wrong, my dear, never. So my process for picking clients. I'm a vibey girl, so I'm vibey. So I need to, again, I ask them, have you seen my work? Because I get referred a lot. So I say, have you seen my work? And then, please make sure you look at my website. And then I ask for their information. Can you send me what it is that you would like for me to do? I didn't say I'd take the job. I want to see what you want from me first before I take a job. You understand? Just because you offer doesn't mean I'm the right fit for you. So I find out if they do something and they want something like heavy makeup with, whatever, then that's just not my client. And I don't really feel like doing that. So I will say, I'm not the right makeup artist for you, but I might have somebody for you. For me, it's down to, so that's one criteria, what do you want from me? And then if I can do it, if I can execute it, then I'll take the job. If I feel like, nah, that's just not what I do, or I don't want that to be like, I don't want what I just did to be publicized, then I might not take a certain client celebrity wise because I feel like it'll be publicized and I don't want to get pigeonholed into that look. I hope that makes sense. I don't want them to think that, I don't want people to publicize me thinking that's what I do when that's not what I do. I don't want her friends and stuff to call me up and say, oh, you did so-and-so's makeup just like that. I want that look just like that too. It's like, oh shit, I just don't do that. You see, so I tend to shy away from people who like a heaping of makeup on their face. It's just not my thing. So I would not take jobs that I would look at something and say, oh, I'm not the right makeup artist for you. That's what I've been saying for over a decade now. Oh, no, I'm not the right makeup artist for you. But somebody else I know is, and they may be great for you. So that's one criteria. Two is pay. I gave you a price. If you start hemming and hawing on me, I'm not interested. I'm not with the, I get that our world is negotiation. I understand that completely. I don't have a problem with a little negotiation. But my issue is that when you just start, when it's too much, it's like, listen, I dig that you want me to kind of come down 100 or 50. It's like, then if you can't even come up to 50, like, in other words, like I say $1,000 and they'll say $950. Why? It's $50. Just pay me my $50. You know what I mean? It's just, sometimes you just have to, it depends on what is the job? What does it entail? Is it good for me in terms of PR? Is it going to do something for my career if I take this job? That kind of thing. You have to weigh all your options, when you decide on work. So that's how I weigh my options. But if they're nitpicking, they're doing that back and forth over like $25, I'm just not, I just get uninterested. I just get so turned off by cheap ass people. And you're not valuing, you're calling me on price, and you should be calling me in my talent. Again, I know that's like, nor here nor there, because it's all about money, but you really should be calling the person that you feel is going to do the best for you. If you feel that I'm not going to do the best for you because my price is $25 higher than you want to pay, then I am not the right person for you. I want to be a good match for my people. I don't want to be, the $25 girl. I had a person I knew call me up. This was years ago, years and years and years ago. and she asked me to do her wedding. First, I was invited to her wedding. First, I was invited. I love how people invite me to their weddings. I've been invited to more weddings since becoming a makeup artist than ever before. And I've been disinvited to more weddings than ever before. And the thing is like, oh, DeShawn, I want you to come to my wedding. I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. And then all of a sudden they'll say, oh, and I want you to do my makeup. And I'll say, well, I charge for weddings. Then suddenly I'm disinvited. I get no invitation. I get no nothing. 1 minute, I want you to, the first thing come out that mouth is, I want you to come to my wedding, right? And then the second thing that comes out of their mouth is, I want you to do my makeup. And it's like, oh, I thought it was just going to be a guest. Because to me, when you ask me to come to your wedding as a guest, I'm a guest. I don't want to work. That's work. I want to enjoy a wedding. And so this lady had asked me to, she's gassing me up. Oh my God, DeShawn, the time you did my makeup was the best thing that ever happened to me. Blah, 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 blah. So I was like, okay. So I gave her, I said $250, charge $250. So she goes, well, first she's invited me to the wedding. And then, so I say, okay. And then I said, oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited. Thank you for inviting me to the wedding. And then she said, oh, but I really would like for you to do my makeup too. And then I was like, oh, well, I charge $250. And then she was just like, oh, $250. Well, I know another makeup artist of your caliber who will do it for $200. And I said, oh, okay, well, then you should go with that person. I had no, because I still thought I was a guest. I still thought I was going to get this invitation in the mail because I was like, oh, if that's the case, then, I still love to come to your wedding. It's okay. You can go hire the $200 person. Me and weddings, it's not my thing. I don't want to be lugging my stuff. I just don't want to. And she never sent me an invite. Oh, child, the minute I say I don't want to do your makeup, I'm disinvited so quickly. It's not even funny. I swear to God. Let me see. So I hope that answered your question, Dawn's Full. Please let me know if that was what you were asking of me, my dear. Kira! Thanks for a recommendation of Scandinavia. It changed the game. Yeah! I love Scandinavia. I really do. I really, really do. I'm glad you got it. Yay for Scandinavia. Yay for Kira for getting Scandinavia. How did I do mana? How did you mana? I'm sorry, I didn't see the question underneath. How did I manage the 24-hour runway show? By staying awake. By staying awake. Yeah, that was it's 24 hours, but me and the fashion stylist, we were up for she was up a little longer than me. I was up for about 36 hours and she was up for maybe 40. Yeah, you don't sleep when you do that show. But everything's pre-planned. Every look is pre-planned, even though there are things that will change on the fly. It takes me about 3 months or 4. I'm going to go 3 or 4, depending on what I have in my head. So I have, I don't have it here. I'm still in the living room. I'm still painting. Okay. But I have loose leaf books of looks that I want to pick out, and I plan it out per hour. And then I have the hair and the makeup separated. And then I would pick a style that I felt would work. So each time the girl came in, I already had it down for her. There's a big board back there I set up. And then I said, okay, these are the looks I want for her for this hour. And then, so it took me about 3 to 4 months to do what we call back of house stuff. All the while still trying to get sponsors. That's the hardest part of doing the show was getting sponsors to sponsor the beauty segment. That was much more tougher than me doing the entire show, the 240, is it 241 looks I had to do, hair, makeup, and then we had at the last show, we had nail tech. So it was hair, makeup, and nails, and coordinating with all of that, and then coordinating with my team. So it's a lot. It's a lot. I love that. I love my show. It's my show. I love that show because it's a challenge to do. But at first, I am in the house and I am going over what the company shows me, whatever they have in their mind in terms of this, each hour is a look. And then throughout that hour, now I have to make it interesting and change her up. And then I have to realize, well, this look I know I really like, how long, and I have to calculate in my head, how long will it take for us to change her up? How quickly can we do it? And I have to figure that out in my mind. And then how many people would it take to change her up? How many team members do I have to bring in to just change her up to get her out within the matter of about 4 minutes? So they had the opportunity, the models come in and they walk in. It's like a conveyor belt. So they walk out, then now they're walking. Now you have a big monitor back there, and then they're going around, they're coming around, they're coming around, they're coming around. Boom. Then there's a next model. And so how much time for this particular girl do I have before she has to change her clothes and get right back out there? Sometimes it would be like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Well, in that 3 minute, 4 minute thing, how quickly can we change her? And then I would bring in my changing stuff that I had in my head, which is what I base increase your speed off of, and all the shortcuts and short tips that I know. And then I would tell my team to come over here, and I'd pick the right person for the team to come over here. You're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do it like this, you're going to do it like that. Out the door she goes. So by the time her 4 minutes are up, she's been completely changed. She went from bone straight hair to curly hair. She went from smoky eye to no smoky eye. She went from, it's all different things. So that's how I handle that's how I handle the show. And then there was a table back there that I had everything kind of like sorted out. And if you touch my table, I would kill you. So there you go. And then having to handle the sponsors the sponsors were more than the show. The sponsors are exhausting. But there you go. That's my answer for you. That's the short answer, name. That's the short answer, CR. That's how I handle it. Inside out, Rebecca. That's what I'm going to say now. Inside out, Rebecca. Hi, honey. Dawn Souls. Am I crazy for thinking that brides should consider purchasing food for their hair? I was about to answer you while I'm reading. So there we go. Let me finish your thing and then I will answer you. Am I crazy for thinking that brides should consider purchasing food for their hairstylists and makeup artists? Or should makeup artists include food, water, and other things into their fee? Now, Lidja does weddings all the time. So this is my answer, and I would love Lidja to answer because she does them more than I do. I personally ask for food. Like if I'm by myself, Dawnsville, and I'm just there to do the bride or maybe one or two people, and I'm not going to be there too long, I don't care. But if I know that I'm going to be there long and I have a team of people with me, I do ask for food and what you just said, water. I do ask for that from my team because I believe they should be fed. I'm just an old black woman. I'm just an old black woman, Dawnsville, and I believe in feeding people. I can't help it, but I likes to feed my people. And so when I'm working, yeah, man, I do ask. I put that in my contract that they have to supply some food. It doesn't have to be the gourmet meal that they're serving their it doesn't have to be the same food that you are serving your guest, because I understand that that's very expensive. But I am requesting food to be back there. I'm requesting water to be back there, especially if we're there for a long period of time. Yes, I expect you to feed me. So that's one thing that I tend to do. I remember I did one wedding. I wasn't there that long. We weren't there. We were only there for like maybe 3 hours tops, honestly. But she fed us, so I can't even say that. Yeah, no, she fed us. But I remember the hairstylist had said to me, because she was not on my team. I was hired as makeup, and then they hired a person as hair, which is fine with me. And what was I gonna say? We were just talking, and she was like, she's always, the hairstylist was always so busy. She only charged $75 a head. And I was like, but she said, I'm always busy. I'm booked. I'm always booked. And I said, listen, if that floats your boat, sweetie, you do you. And she said she don't even bother. She don't give a rat's ass. She was like, about food. She was like, listen, I got an energy bar. I bounce, because she's bouncing from wedding to wedding to wedding to wedding. So that was her take on it. She was so sweet. She was just like, make sure you bring food with you, because you never know if they're going to feed you. And I remember doing weddings in the beginning where they didn't feed me. And I was standing there like for hours, I'm starving, and I thought they were going to feed me. So I learned how to ask for it. I learned how to say, well, we need to be fed, period. But I also say it does not have to be the meal that you're providing your guests. I'm not looking for you to feed us your $100 meal. I understand that too, but the crew needs to be fed. That's what I do. So Lydia says, I suggest to the bride when they come to the trial to have water and snacks. There we go. Yeah, water and snacks on the wedding day. I think that's fair. Like I said, it depends on how long am I physically there. That's how I feel about it. If I'm there all day, you better come up with some food. But if and a snack, and sometimes for snacks, they'll bring out like a beautiful platter of like a crudité platter, and beautiful fruit platters, and I'm down for that too. But I just want to eat. You know what I mean? Like, they'll bring breakfast. You get a nice breakfast sometimes. That's cool. I'm all down for that. But to not feed people is a no for me. I don't understand that. I'm sorry. You need to feed me. You need to feed me. You need to feed me. It's in my contract. You need to feed a sister. I usually do at least 5 people, so I need water and snacks and fruit. Yeah. Yeah, me too. I need water, snacks, and fruit. I personally, I don't need a meal, but I just say a meal. But I do, snacks, fruit, that's fine with me. Something to nosh on is fine with me. But yeah, I've had like early in my career where I was like at a wedding for like 6 hours or something. And I was like, yo, where is the food? Where is the food? I remember I did a friend's wedding. God bless her. I love her to this day. But man, oh man, Chavez, she stiffed me something fierce with that food. I had an assistant with me. We were starving. And she just, I could tell she was not in her right mind. I could tell she was in her right mind. But child, there was no food. No, food came into the room, and we were both like ravenous animals. So we were like, oh, food. So we started eating the food. And then the waiter came in and said, oh, that's not supposed to be here. And then took the food away. And I was like, oh, yeah. But I just did not have the heart to bother her. I could already tell she was crazed. She's a crazed bride. I just did not have the heart to say, biatch, where's my food? I didn't want to add another thing to her plate. But yeah, she starved me. But that's what you do. You let your friend starve you. You know what I mean? Yeah. That ain't gonna happen. That would never happen to me again, though. No, that's not gonna happen to me again. But she did starve me. Oh God! By the end of that day, I was spent. I was so tired because we didn't eat. We did not eat, and then we had the contract, and then and then I did her makeup. We went to the hotel. We did the makeup. Then she goes, "Oh, the wedding's." She told me in the contract the wedding was at one place. What she meant was, I'm telling you, that's why I was like, I can't bother her for food because she's not in her right mind. But the wedding was in a church, and then the other place, then the reception was in another place. But the way she worded it on the contract, it was all in one spot. So we started driving to the one spot, and then all of a sudden she goes, "Oh, the wedding's at this church," and we were like. And I checked the paper. I was like, that's not what you told me. Oh, DeShawn, I'm so sorry. And It was just, this is another reason why I don't like doing them, because sometimes brides just can be a little scattered and it's just such a hectic day that I just don't enjoy it. God bless you, Lich. I don't enjoy it. Maria Jones in the house. Maria Jones. Hi, Maria. Hi, DeShawn. Hi, everyone. Jonesville says, no, she said that already. Okay, that did answer your question. Cool, 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 cool. And name, did I answer your question about the 24-hour show? Was there something specific that you wanted to know about that show? Oh, and I drink a lot of coffee. Oh yeah, and the biggest thing that I did, because the 24-hour show took place in Miami, and so the most important thing in my life, right, not was how many people, was where is the coffee? Is there a 24-hour Starbucks? Is there a, like, that was the most important thing. So I every year, because they would change the location. So every year I go online and say, where is the 24-hour Starbucks? And I'd send somebody out to get me coffee. Or I prefer Dunkin' Donuts, because Dunkin' Donuts, the coffees are huge. And so every, I want to say around 2:00 in the morning, 2, 3, somewhere around there, was coffee break. If she needed to get another coffee, so that's how I did it. That's how she went crazy. That's how she did it. Oh, she's crazy. Ah, thank you, Inside Out. Inside Out, Rebecca. Thank you. Actually, it is a combination of Danessa Myricks. Now I can't see because the lighting is different in here. I would tell you what color it is. I thought it was that color, but then it wasn't dark enough. And I have this old, where did you go? I have this old Kevin Aquan. Is this it? No. Yeah. Yes. And then I have this old Kevin Aquan lip color. It's like it's reading, oh, maybe because the pink is from here. It's more like a lavender-y color. And so I just put the lavender-y color on top of Danessa's pink, and then we get that color. Yeah. Oh, I love this palette. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love this palette so much. And you can see the colors I haven't even tried yet, but I love this thing. It's great for like when you're in a rush. Yeah, I love this palette. That's my personal palette. That's not my kit palette. It's my personal palette. So yes. Yeah, I love lavender. Unfortunately, Kevin Aquan does not make this color anymore. Most of my makeup kit is comprised of old, when I say old makeup, but like makeup I've had that I didn't use for years. And then I go in the back and I start grabbing makeup out of the I don't use corner. And I had this for years now, and they don't make the color anymore. I went to check because it's so pretty. I wanted to recommend this color, but now I'm like, well, they don't make it anymore. So now I can't even recommend it to you guys. But it was a beautiful lavender-y lipstick from Kevin Aquan, but they don't make it anymore. That's what happened. So you guys have any questions? But remember, seriously, people coming at you talking about you need to pay me for stuff. You need to pay me for a job. That's not normal. Don't fall for the okie doke. That's not normal. Paying anybody for a job in this industry, no, we don't pay for jobs. Paying for kits, unless you're a student, paying for a kit is a no-no. You have your kit. You're a professional. You're supposed to have a kit. And when people offer, like sometimes people say, well, we have a kit, DeShawn, you can use our kit. That's different than saying you have to buy my kit from me and then you can get the job. That's a difference. So be careful of that. Nubian Princess, oh, it was fun. We had a nice little crowd, cute little, I had never been to this little, it's like a little coffee shop. So it made me very happy because I smelled coffee the entire time. My publisher was there. So it was nice. It was a really sweet gathering. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it tremendously. Thank you for asking. And they showed up and we closed the place down. The guy was like, get out. No. It was fun. It was fun. So thank you for asking. Yes, it was fun. Great questions as always. It was a lot of fun. I probably will try to do it again sometime in the near future. Yeah, it was fun. It was just fun. I like meeting you guys. You know, I like meeting you guys. And I will be at the makeup show, New York, whenever it comes. Yeah, I'll be there in, is it May or is it the end of April? I'll be there. I'll be with Graftobian. I'll be with Graftobian. So there you go. So come on over and say hello to our girl. Duansful says, I was reading a Reddit thread, and in the thread, people were mentioning the struggles Black actors deal with when they don't have knowledgeable, hairstylists and makeup artists on set. Is it reasonable that I think that makeup artists should have enough knowledge to know how to mix colors for their clients? Well, Dawn's fault. I think what's happening here, my dear, is that you want me to go ticky ticky boom boom. You want me to start going off like boom. Yes, they're supposed to know how to work on everybody. Everybody. I'm going to say it again. Everybody, but unfortunately that's just not the case behind the scenes. You know, it's just not. And I'm going to say it this way, and I'm going to say it this way, and then I'm going to swing it back so it doesn't sound like I'm attacking white people, because I'm not. But there's a lot of white artists, Black, there's a lot of white artists that do not understand hair texture and skin tone. There's a lot. Not saying that listen, I met a lot of Black people who do not know how to work on Black people. So, you know, but I'm saying that the reason why I'm prefacing white people is because they're the ones who are primarily behind the scenes doing the work. And it's the Black folks and the other folks who are trying to get in. So that's why I'm saying it that way. And so those people who are in, these white people that are in, some do a magnificent job. Not magnificent, but some I have seen with my own eyes and I go, what are you doing? They don't, because they don't understand hair texture. They don't understand skin tones. They don't. And so, yes, they should be able to, but they don't. But because I'm a Libra and Libra's got to be fair, I was on a set with a brother, on a set with a brother. All right, Dawnsville, hear me now, hear me. A sister was on a set with a brother, and this beautiful Nubian model walks in with hair like mine. Hers is a little coarser than mine. Still, she had an afro. And this lovely brother, this brother hairstylist, told that Nubian princess sister, yeah, I don't do your hair. I only do wigs. You got to go in the bathroom and do your own hair. So, so you understand what I'm saying, right? So it's not just white people, it's our people too. Sometimes we could be a little discriminatory towards each other as well. And I witnessed that. It ain't something I'm conjured in my head. I saw that. He did not want to touch her hair. I don't do that. He looked disgusted. I only do wigs. You know, they shouldn't be sending models in here unless they have. I was like, what are you talking about? Your job is to do everybody. What are you talking about? And that was a brother. Okay. So that's why part of me doesn't get on white people all the time, because it's not a white people thing. It's an industry issue. You see, like Bro Man didn't even want to touch her. She literally, a model, had to go into the bathroom. He gave her a comb. He gave her a comb and a brush and said, you need to go, pull your hair out. I was shook. I was shook that he did that. Shook. And it's the way he treated her. I was shook how he treated her. So I'm not going to be sitting up here blaming all white people, because it's not about that. It's about, I was just on a panel at IBS, which is the International Beauty Show. And we were talking about diversity and, getting the chance to be behind the scenes, because again, Black folks just don't get a lot of chances to be behind the scenes, right? And even if we are behind the scenes, right, in film and television, we are relegated to background. So I'll explain, because writing so, what does I say? Writing increase speed. No, I didn't write increase speed. Writing assisting roles. The new edition, I added a whole bunch of film stuff in here, and I had to talk to department heads, because when I show up on a film, it's normally I'm by myself. I don't have to talk. I don't have to answer to a lot of people. So I'm one of those kind of walk-ons kind of person. Whereas with film, like with major motion picture stuff like that, there are a lot of rules that you got to know. And I did not know them. So that's why when I wrote the first edition of assisting rules, there was no film nor television in there, because I didn't know the rules for them. So let me give you a quick rule thing. So when you're working in film and television, 98% of the time, you should be in the union. I have been very fortunate. Like I said, I worked on a lot of film and television, but I have not been a union person. Okay. So now you're on a film and television set, you finally got into the union, blah, 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 blah. Now what happens is there's all these tiers. The department head is in charge. She or he, head person, okay? They do budgets, they do all these things. Then you have keys. There's a lot of keys going on. So you have a key. Sometimes the department head will work on the star, right? So let's say he just popped into my head, Will Smith. He just popped in my head. Will Smith is in a movie, and the department head would work on Will Smith, right? So Will Smith is hers. Then let's say there was another person, I don't know who, Queen Latifah. I don't know where they're coming from. So Queen Latifah is the next person on the roster. Okay, so now Queen Latifah has her own makeup artist back there. That might be another key. Okay, now you're going down. So it's like you go down the list of people that's in this movie. So now you have, let's say, the supporting cast. They may have a key, and those keys are responsible for their makeup. Okay, so you getting what I'm saying? It's like there's a lot of keys. There's lots of keys running around there. Okay, now in the key world, they have what would be called a day player. We would call them assistants, but this is film and television. They have their own title. It's called day players, right? People on the roster. So as DeShawn, day player, who do I get to day play with? These keys, the key for Will, the key for Queen Latifah, or am I going to be now regulated to the background? The background is when you see people in the background. The background is when you see people. Is that famous scene, because I'm such a Sex and the City girl, there's that famous scene where Carrie, it's the very end, and Carrie's walking, she's strolling down the street, and she flips her phone up and it says John on the phone, and she's in a street full of people. Well, all of those people that you see in camera are actors, and the day players have to go back there and powder all of them. No matter if you're going to see them, they're blurry, whatever. So a lot of times what will happen is we are relegated to the background. So I'm trying to give you a full thing. And so what's happening is that even though you have Black people in the union, they are relegated to background. They don't get the opportunities to work in this area. They don't get the opportunity to be key, and very rarely are they department heads. Again, it's not saying there are none. Of course there are. We have all these people's names went out of my head, but Marietta Carter Narcisse is a department head, and oh God, a young lady by the name of Sam. Her name just went right out of my head. We have maybe counting 10 Black female, because I have yet to meet a male, 10, I think it might be 8 Black people who are department head, makeup artist department heads. That's not a lot when the totality of the industry, there could be 200 department heads, but out of that 200, there's 10 Black people. So I'm trying to give y'all the whole thing, okay? And so that's what we were talking about. And so when I was on the panel at IBS, I simply said, I just would appreciate it if the industry would pick people who had the actual talent, who had the actual skill to work these jobs. And what happens is the keys pick their friends. That's what they pick. And they pick their friends no matter if they can really do the job well or not. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you pay attention to television and you look at Black people on TV, you can see that we look jacked up. I mean, we can look crazy from scene to scene to scene to scene. We look crazy. Nobody can, I mean, Tyler Perry is Black and he can jack us up like nobody's business. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's a mess. When it comes to Black folks, the wigs are bad. The makeup is really off. It's just messy. And so we're saying as Black people, well, why can't we get those opportunities to be on set? And hopefully these Black people know what they're doing and not like the brother man I worked with, with the attitude, I don't touch hair and all that stuff. So to answer, that's me answering your question. Okay. It would be great if people were hired based off of talent and not off of friendships and things like that. I think the industry would be better if you hired the talent that goes along with the job. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to happen that way. That's why Black folks, Black actors and stuff just keep getting upset over the treatment that they're getting, including models, by the way. Black models get horrible treatment. I can't tell you how many times I would work on a Black model and they'd walk in. The minute they sit down, they start going into this bag and start pulling out their makeup. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I just want to make sure you have my foundation. And I'm like, oh, sweet, I have your foundation. And then they look relieved, like, you do? You have my color? And I would have to show them a palette like Inclusion. And they would say, wow, you really do? And they would relax, you see. So, that's to say all of that. But again, I'm not picking on white people because Black people will jack you up too. A la Tyler Perry. Okay. That man don't give a rat's ass what anybody looks like. Thank God he gave the reins over to somebody else. I swear he's terrible. So I hope you guys understand the whole hierarchy in film and television. Now you kind of understand. Like, that's why it's so important when you guys read the credits, because then you'll see who's what. And then, by the way, they don't list the day players on there, so you don't get listed. Every makeup artist does not tend to get listed unless it's like one of those blockbuster things. And then you're sitting there for 15 minutes reading credits because there's like 100 makeup artists back there doing something. Like when you're watching like a Marvel movie, then you'll see makeup artists and then the list will just keep scrolling. That's different. But on regular films, they really don't list everybody. I've never seen it. So I'm sorry, something's happening on the side. Your comments. Whoop, did not mean to do that. Oh God, DeShawn, why you gotta touch things? Okay. Inside Out, Rebecca. I would love to go to your next book signing. I would love for you to come too, Rebecca. I'll let you guys know in advance. And yeah, I totally understand, because this one was it got a little jacked up because people thought they had to pay to come. And I was like, no, you don't. Who told you had to pay? And then I noticed that my publicist was like, she had put up a price, which meant basically she's poo-poo, I'm not poo-poo. So my publicist, by the way, if I can name drop, okay, I'm very proud. I'm very proud to be associated with, but not really. She's so stupid. My publisher is also the same publisher that has published Cheryl Lee Ralph's book, the one that she's out now, Diva 2.0. That Same person who proofed my book, proofed Cheryl Lee's book. So I'm very like, oh, I'm in such good company. But my publisher is poo poo, and I am not. And so she does things in a poo poo manner. And so she did that whole thing with, paying before you come, and then we'll have the book ready for you and all that. I was like, yeah, I don't do that. I just let people come. So, so it got confusing for some people. So, there you go. But yeah, next time we're going to do DeShawn's way. And then we'll have another one. We'll have another book signing. Like I said, they're fun. You're welcome, Dawnsville says, thank you, DeShawn, for going into so much detail. It's really necessary that this issue is discussed. And you're right about Tyler Perry. Child, did I tell y'all I wrote to Tyler Perry after that debacle of a movie he did? What was that? Can y'all remember that movie he had done where the wig was here, 1 minute, it was here, then it was here, it was down, then it was here, it was up. I wrote to him. I was so insulted. I was an insulted Black girl by Tyler Perry. And he had put up a thread on Instagram, and your girl went off. I was like, I wrote to him in all sincerity, in my heart of hearts. I wrote to him and I was like, how in the world do you think that a makeup artist or hairstylist working on set, or even a grip or whatever, working on your sets, could ever use any of that footage for their reel when it's always so jacked up? Like, how is it fair to the crew that's working so hard for you that you don't at least call cut and say, all right, continuity, fix her wig, like do something, but you just let stuff go, and it's not good for your crew. It's never good for you and I to have a director who doesn't care about what something looks like, because that's your job, and you work off of like that job that you're working on, no matter if it's Tyler Perry or not. So that job that you're working on, it has to look good. If it doesn't look good, and now you have a reel of something that looks like crap, and you think, okay, well, it's Tyler Perry, doesn't matter, I'm going to put it on my reel, right? You can't, because it looks bad. And that was my point to him. I was like, don't you care about your crew and them being able to work? And you know what he did? I put it up there live. I didn't sugarcoat it. I put it right up there. He took it down. He deleted it. That's what he did. He don't like criticism. I tell you that right now. He don't like criticism. But I was appalled. I was appalled by that movie. And what really hurt me was it was a good movie. It had a good storyline, had a good plot line. Isn't it something like Lord Help Me or The Fall from Grace or something like that? So like I said, Black people can mess up something too. I'm not just blaming white people. Black people can jack it all up too. Really. He's prime suspect in jacking up a movie, the look of a movie. Prime suspect. But yes, it needs to be discussed more and more and more, because the more that the actors honestly speak up, the better it will be for them to get the people that they need. Do you know what I mean? They really need help. They don't need their hair fried off their head, and they really need help. It's just only fair. So, beautiful people, there goes your girl's rant. Don't forget, Increase Your Speed is still up. The month of May, I believe, is all gone. June, July, August, and September are still here. I'm only doing it during those times. Whatever dates that you see is when I'm doing it. Not doing it any other day. And it comes with a model. You do not have to bring a model. You just have to bring yourself. And of course, because I just told you before, I feed you. I believe in feeding people. So you will be fed and you will be worked like a dog. So come here and be ready to be worked. And like I said, I'm very proud of my results. I've had people go from 95 minutes for one phase to 45 minutes for one phase, from 75 minutes for one phase to 35 minutes for one phase. And if you're in bridal, it will pay for itself. The class will pay for itself. You will get more business. How do I know that? Because all of my bridal people who've taken the class have written to me and said, wow, DeShawn, I could book more people. And I'm like, that's the point of this. That's the whole point, is making more money, speed you up so you can make more money, honey. That's what increase your speed is about. So there's a sales pitch. Maria Jones. Well, Tyler Perry knows now, don't he? That movie, that movie Cordell. That Tyler has made it clear his priority is cranking projects out fast. Quality is secondary or lower. Well, what did you just say, Maria? He know now. If you notice, he has hired different directors. Have you noticed that? He has taken a step back because he was ruining people's not business, but he's ruining people's jobs. Also, how, as somebody who's working on a major motion picture, it's a major motion picture, by the way. I'm going off on a tangent. I'm sorry. It's just about to hang up, but now I got to go back. He was treating his films like student films. Okay. When I was starting out, we would do films in 5 days because it's on a budget. It's on a low budget or no budget. So you have to do what you can in 5 days. These are major motion pictures. Okay. Which means that I'm getting student film rate. I'm getting paid this much off of your film, sir. I'm not making any money. How can I make money? It's only 5 days. So you're getting all of this out of me so you can take. So remember, he's also cutting the budget. So now you're cutting the budget for everybody. He's so proud of the 5-day BS, but he's cutting the budget off of everybody. Then what happens? Okay. Follow the money. This is what Joy says, or Sunny says on The View. Follow the money. Then what happens, right? So he has cut your pay. He has cut everybody's pay because it's only 5 days, right? Then he goes and he puts the money up on Netflix, or he puts the film up on something, and he gets paid $30 million for that film. Well, his budget, his whole film budget was $5 million. Then what happens to the rest of that money? He takes the rest of the money and he sticks in his pocket. And then people are like, isn't it great? Tyler Perry's a billionaire. Of course he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire off of your back, my back, and anybody else who would work for him. That's how he made his money. He would make a film for $5 million and he pocket the money, the rest of the money. But follow the money, people. That's what he's doing. It's nothing to be proud of that you made a film in 5 days. Students make films in 5 days. That's nothing to be proud of. He irritates me. Follow the money, people. Woo! I'm getting hot. He filmed in 5 days. That makes no damn sense. Dawn'sville, but that's what he did. That's what he did. And that's why his films were starting to look like crap. He had a good premise for them, but they started to look like crap. And that man did not care. The wardrobe was terrible, probably because he said, make do, figure it out. You hear that a lot, figure it out. Well, they figured it out. That last movie with the wig, remember the brother man with the leather jacket? First of all, I didn't even know what year I was in with that movie because I was like, he looks like, are we in the 80s? Like, what's up with his clothes? He looks like very 80s. Like, and then his hair. Do you remember the black guy lead? His hair went straight up. I was like, well, what year is this? Is this the 80s? Tyler Perry's like nails on a chalkboard. Nails on like, for me. I can't. I can't. There's nothing to be proud of. There's nothing to be proud of. You don't work people to death like that and then run around. I did it in 5 days. There's nothing to be proud of. There's nothing. Because it's a mess. And then when they asked him, back in the day after that movie, because he got all defensive, and they asked him, so what's up with the wigs, right? He said, well, I expect them to be right when they come out of the trailer. And they are right when they come out of the trailer. But, sir, you are the director. You are looking through a lens. You can see the wig might be shifting. You can see that. But instead of you stopping production to fix the wig, you continue. And then it twists, it does all these things. And then you turn around and you blame your hair people. Oh, Jesus, please. Jesus, take the wheel. Wait a minute. He exploited his workers to make all of that money. That's it. That's what he did. That's heartbreaking. Yes. So many people, so many Black people love his films. Yes. I can't watch some of his films with Medea. She's too dimensional. I'm telling you, this is what he was doing. He's making low budget film and then getting all the box office return and sticking it in his pocket. People, follow the money. Follow the money. Child. Come on. Taraji P. Henson said, Tyler Perry was the first person, I believe, if I'm right, I'm gonna find that quote. So I am allegedly, I can't remember, allegedly, he paid her something like $250,000, and he was the first person to do that. But that was Taraji P. Henson at the height of Taraji P. Henson, who should have been worth $5 or $6 million at the height when she was cooking. She should have been $5 or $6 million. You have to follow the money, people. People make millions to be in a film, not in Tyler Perry's films. You know, if you do IMDb, if you go on to IMDb, I believe they still do this. You could look up the budget for the film, which is what I do. I say, how much did it cost him to make this film? How much money did he make? The budget is right here. It tells you he spent $20 million and he made $50 million. Now, numbers wise, that's a beautiful thing. Congratulations. But when you have people like a Taraji and all the rest of these people, even though they weren't A-listers like they are today, they still deserved a better pay than what he was paying them. You understand? Oh, it's a long story with Tyler Perry. I can't. Anyway, he made his millions off of the backs of people, and now he's a billionaire, and there you go. There you go. How did he make his money so fast? Y'all need to follow the dollars, and nobody's following that money. Everybody's like, oh my God, he's so great. I'm like, you need to follow the money. He's not paying crew right. You need to follow the money. Okay, she's done with the rant. I can go on and on about Tyler Perry. Yeah, I can go on and on and on. So I'm getting off this popsicle stand. Oh, God help me. Follow the money. So people, I'll be back next week, Sunday, and hopefully I will be finished painting. I'm on my 5th coat. Did you hear it? 5th coat, not 3rd. 5th coat. I will never buy this paint again. Never. All right, peeps, I'm out of here. Have a good night. See you next Sunday. Come with questions. Bye, guys. Good night. And congratulations, Nubian Princess, on your certificate. Everybody say congratulations, Nubian Princess, some other time. Okay, bye. She's so stupid.